Today's lesson is on percent composition. So, have you ever noticed the tag on shirts that will let you know this percent is cotton, this percent is polyester? So, what we're going to do is find the percent of each element in a compound. So, stop the video and I want you to copy this equation down. It says the mass of the element is equal to the mass of the element over the mass of the compound. So, we want to know what is the percent mass of the element that makes up the mass of this compound. So it's your mass of your element over your mass of your compound, and then we're going to multiply it by 100. So hopefully you have this copied, and we're going to go to our first example. So it's asking what is the percent oxygen in water? So water, let me get my pen. Water has a formula of H2O. And the first thing I want you to do is find the molar mass of water. And so that 2 means we have 2 hydrogens. So that's 2 times, and if you look on your periodic table, you will see that the molar mass of water is 1.01. So that gives us 2.02. Oxygen, there's no subscript. So that means it's 1. And if you look for oxygen, it is 16.00. So that gives us 16. Now we're going to add those two numbers up, and that gives us 18.02. That's your molar mass of the compound. That's going to go on the bottom of our equation. So we want to know the percent mass. And so percent mass equals the mass of your element over the mass of your compound. And then we're going to multiply that by 100. So to set up this problem, if we're looking for oxygen, so oxygen right here, this is oxygen's molar mass. That goes on top. So 16 over, and then we want to put the mass of the compound. So 18.02 is our mass of our compound. And then we're going to times it by 100. And that gives us percentage. When you punch in 16.00 divided by 18.02, you get a decimal of point, you should get something like this, point, I get that out of the way, 8879 or something like that. And then you're going to times that by 100. And then that gives you 88.79%. Then we can do the same thing for hydrogen. If I want to know, well, what percentage of hydrogen makes up this compound water, we would say percent hydrogen equals. Now, hydrogen's molar mass in this formula is 2.02, not just 1.01. So we have to put that on top because that's the molar mass of that formula. And then notice we're going to have the same molar mass of the compound. So the mass of your element over the molar mass of your compound. And our compound is 18.02. And squeeze in, we're going to multiply that by 100. So when you get that, you get 11 when we do all our calculations, you get 11.21%. And that's for hydrogen. So if you add up 88.79 and 11.21, you should get 100. And that's how you can check your answers as well. So as you can see, we had to find the molar mass of the whole compound of H2O. And then we put the molar mass of each element that we're working with. So this was the percent for oxygen. Divide it, and then times it by 100. So let's do another example. All right, now we have MgO. So let's find our molar mass of the whole compound. We have Mg and O, and since both of these are 1 and 1, we just look on the periodic table. Magnesium is 24.31. Oxygen is 16.00. So we're going to add those together. And that gives us 40.31. So that's our molar mass of the whole compound. So that's always going to be at the bottom. So again, it's to find the percent of your element. You got to put the mass of your element on top. My screen's not working right. And the mass of your compound on the bottom times 100. All right, so let's find magnesium first. So I want to know the percent of magnesium. So magnesium is 24.31. That's the mass of just the magnesium. And then the mass of your compound is what we calculated, 40.31. And then we're going to multiply that by 100. So when you divide this, punch in 24.31 into your calculator first, divide by 40.31, and then times it by 100. And you should get 60.31%. So that's the percent of magnesium that it makes up in the magnesium oxide. Now to get the percent of oxygen, oxygen's molar mass is 16. The molar mass of the whole compound of MgO is 40.31. So notice you got 40.31 here and 40.31. So that's all. It should always be the same number because that's your molar mass of your compound. Then we're going to times it by 100. And notice you don't put the percent sign in your calculator. You just multiply it by 100. So when you divide, you punch in 16.00, then divide it by 40.31, and then times it by 100, and you should get 39.69%. So if we add 60.31 and 39.69%, we should get 100%. So for this problem, you're going to find the percent composition for each of these elements. So we will need to first find the molar mass. So by now, we should be able to do that. And so I'm going to save that step, and we're going to get our molar mass is 180.18. So that's the molar mass of this whole compound. So now we're going to look at carbon. So carbon, the percent of carbon equals the molar mass of carbon, and because there are 6 carbons, then we are going to have a total of 6 carbons in our percent. So our percent of carbon, or our total mass for carbon is 72.06. So that carbon has a molar mass of 12.01, but times the 6, that gives us 72.06. So then we place our total molar mass of the compound, sorry, that should be an 18, and then times that by 100, and then that gives us 39.99%. And I want you to always have 2 decimal places after the decimal, have 2 numbers after the decimal, because that will give you your, when you add up all the numbers, that will give you 100%. Now for hydrogen, the percent of hydrogen, there are 12 of those. Hydrogen is 1.01, but times 12 gives you 12.12. And again, that's over 180.18 times 100. And then that will give us 6.73%. So again, I want 2 numbers after the decimal. Even though this is 3 sig figs and this is 4, it's okay. We want 2 places after the decimal. And then our last one is oxygen. And oxygen, there are 6 of them. Oxygen has a molar mass of 16. So 6 times 16 is 96 over the total molar mass of the compound times 100. And then that gives us, squeeze it up here, 53.28%. So if you add up these numbers, you will get 100%. So that's what you get for each element. That's the percent of each element that makes up sugar. In our last problem, you're going to do a little bit more on your own. So again, our first step is to find the total molar mass of the NaHCO3, and that gives us 120.07. So we go by each element, the percent of sodium. So sodium has atomic mass, which is its molar mass, of 22.99 over the total molar mass of the compound times 100, and then that gives us 19.15%. And now for hydrogen, the percent of hydrogen, there's only one hydrogen, so that's 1.01 over the 120 times 100%, or 100, and that gives us 0.84%. So again, we just need 2 numbers after the decimal. And then for sulfur, we have sulfur has a average atomic mass of 32.07, and it's only 1, so that's going to keep that over the total molar mass times 100, and then that gives you your answer, which you'll write that answer for Ed in the Ed puzzle. And then the last is oxygen, percent of oxygen. And then you're going to set that one up and find the answer for that one.